Hey everyone, welcome back to another Ask Mevo Anything. I am Joseph Capar. I'm the Senior Technical Specialist here at Mevo, and today I have a really nice show. I'm going to go into depth about the origins of the Mevo, why it was created. For today's show, as always on Tuesdays, it's a single camera show. I'm using a single Mevo Start with the Mevo 2.0 app. It's handling all of the overlays, including the countdown you just seen, the over the shoulder you're seeing over here, and the lower third below me. For my audio, I'm going to be using this Blue Yeti microphone. It's the nano version. We're going 3.5 directly to the back of the Mevo Start and using it that way. This Blue Yeti is basically plug and play. You could also have taken that and went USB, but we're using USB for power and for Ethernet. So for this solution, we're going to use the 3.5. As always, if you have any questions, make sure you throw those in the chat. We do have people monitoring those, so to make sure I get those live, and I'll do my best to address those. If you do have any technical questions and you need some technical assistance, as always, go to help.mevo.com, and a customer experience agent would be happy to help you through any troubles you may be having. If you are using your Mevo in a unique way, please make sure you are hashtagging your content. Make sure you hashtag Mevo Camera. That way our marketing team can view your content and we can see if maybe we can even get some extra exposure out there and actually share your content on our social channels as well. If you're not already, make sure you follow, like, subscribe to us on all of our social channels. You can find us at Mevo Camera on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And last but not least, we do go live 4 times a week. So if you're trying to get more content, you want to learn more about Mevo, we go live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays are more of a Ask Mevo Anything where you can kind of ask us questions. On Thursdays, we try to get a little bit more in depth, do some screen sharing, walk through some app features. On Wednesdays, Will goes live to our multicam beta group where he walks through new and upcoming features and he shows you what's coming to the beta before they're even released. And then on Fridays, we have Joseph. He goes in deep on audio. He is an audio engineer by trade, and we're lucky to have him as a support agent here to really help deep dive into audio. So he gets real into a lot of stuff that I don't even understand. So if audio is your thing, or if it's not your thing and you want to make it your thing, that's the show you want to tune in for. We go live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on at Mevo Camera and in the multicam beta group for our Wednesday shows. All right, so I am going to be running this all by myself. Let me go ahead and get rid of my lower third here. So if you see me looking over at the app, all I'm doing is adjusting some overlay options. So up here in the top left, it looks like the text might be just a little too small, so I'll make sure to adjust that in upcoming live shows. But I'm actually using a slide here where I can actually just go through and discuss exactly what we're going to talk about today. So for today's show, like I said, we're using the Mevo Start, a Blue Yeti Nano, and we're using Mevo Producer for our overlays, including the one you're seeing here. To get started, let's talk about the origins of the Mevo, right? So about 2015, 2016, Livestream, who founded Mevo, was a company founded by Max Hyatt. And well, the thing is, the reason that it was founded was we were noticing, well, them at the time, I wasn't part of the team yet, but they were noticing that there was a lack of resources for those who wanted to get involved into live streaming long form content. Being the founders and the creators of Livestream Studio and the platform of Livestream itself, they were noticing that, and if you really wanted to get involved into live streaming, you really had to deep dive, you had to really invest tens of thousands of dollars, and then you had to lug a lot of equipment around. So they really seemed to find a need for a more financially obtainable option, I guess would be the correct term. So they really wanted to find an option that was more affordable for an everyday user, someone who doesn't have tens of thousands of dollars. They don't want to hire a production team or company. They don't want to have camera operators. So what they did is they found the Mevo First Gen. Well, this is a Mevo Plus, but similar form factor. But the Mevo First Gen was the Mevo that first introduced Mevo to the widespread live streaming community. Now what this allows you to do is it allows you to punch in and really kind of act like you have multiple different angles as if you actually have a full production team without that giant investment that I was discussing earlier. Now, that means you can carry around this, the Mevo Plus and the Mevo Boost, instead of like giant cameras, TV production stuff, lots of cables. If you do have cameras, then you need capture software, capture hardware, and things like that. You need a team to operate all of these things. You can't typically function and do those all at the same time. Then, of course, 2020 comes around, and we decide, after listening to many years of feedback of the Mevo First Gen and the Mevo Plus, we hear, hey, we want a 3.5, we want longer battery life, we want smaller form factor, we want better lower light sensitivity. We have a lot of things that users are wanting, NDI, for example. So in 2020, we announced the Mevo Start. So the Mevo Start continues to bring all of those original features that you learn to love with the Mevo First Gen and the Mevo Plus. Still allows all those live editing options. It allows you to do the live cutting, the graphics, everything that Mevo First Gen and the Mevo Plus allowed you to do, you can still do with the Mevo Start, except we brought you all of those things that our users were requesting, those lower light performance, the 3.5 audio input on the back, the NDI options, a better built-in audio. So the Mevo Start was really a product brought to you by the community itself. And that brings us to our next topic, the Vimeo producer package or plan. So as we continue to build Mevo products, Vimeo was who acquired live stream, which means they were really trying to bring more things such as overlays and things like that you would typically need, things like OBS, or you need Livestream Studio, vMix, Wirecast, Ecamm. Now, of course, you can use your Mevo Start with those platforms, but if you want to do and accomplish all of those things with just your mobile device, there really still wasn't a way to introduce all of those overlays. So Vimeo comes in and they introduce the producer plan. Now you can get the producer plan in your app store, or you can go to mevo.com/plans and it'll take you to an area where you can subscribe there as well. Now, what does the Vimeo producer plan bring to you? So it brings graphical overlays, which I've been using throughout this whole thing. You see the slide here. I used a countdown, lower thirds so far. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with these overlays. Now, you can also do things like use the free Mevo Mic app. So the free Mevo Mic app is an application. You can use up to 3 sources with the Vimeo producer plan, and it allows you to basically have 3 mobile devices attached to an audio source that'll transmit wirelessly to your Mevo. And it allows your Mevo to handle all the audio syncing and things like that. Whereas a traditional wireless solution for audio could cost hundreds of dollars depending on what you're trying to invest. Well, the Mevo Mic app allows you to use your mobile device or whatever you plug into your mobile device as a wireless audio solution. Now, that's not it. The biggest thing, in my opinion, when it comes to the Vimeo Premium or Vimeo producer plans is the multi-destination. So multi-destination allows you to go up to 10 platforms simultaneously. Now, this might not seem like a big deal because you could probably do that with RTMP and a few other really complicated solutions, but by simply going into the Mevo 2.0 app and toggling on multi-destination and selecting those 10 platforms that you want, of course you can use less, but you might as well get your content seen. Well, what it really does is you're really harnessing the power of Vimeo. You're using their cloud power opposed to using your own bandwidth, which means that you are still sending a single stream out, and then you're using Vimeo's power and their server strength to distribute that load across their servers. So instead of using and streaming 10 different streams to 10 different platforms from a single device, you're sending it to Vimeo and using their resources to do that instead, which is a lot better because that means you don't need more powerful internet. You don't have to worry about congestion or monitoring all of those streams simultaneously. You allow Vimeo to handle that and kind of report all of those statistics to you. And then, of course, once you're actually done with the stream, Vimeo Producer and Premium allow you to actually just save that stream. You can save it as a video on demand or a VOD, and you get up to, I believe it's 5 or 15 gigs of storage with the producer, and then significantly more with Premium, where you can actually store that on Vimeo's platform to share it to your users afterwards. All right, so we talked about a little bit more things like that. Let me get into some questions, see if we have any questions regarding any of this. As always, please put your questions in there. It's my favorite part of these shows is to get into these questions. All right, James Humphrey says, Mevo camera being used as a webcam. It works with the shorter cord that came with it, but we bought a 15-foot Mevo cable and the data power. Oh, so I'm assuming you're talking about the power Ethernet adapter. When we use that longer cord, we do not get the camera into the computer. Is there something to empower the 15-foot cord? Is there a special power cord that we could push in? So James, it sounds like when you say you're using, you bought a 15-foot Mevo cable. Can you specify what 15-foot cable you're using? Are you using the Mevo Plus cable? When you say the shorter cord, are you talking about the specific one that comes with the camera? Now, these cables that come with the Mevo cameras should 100% work with webcam mode. Now, if you start introducing third-party adapters or hubs and things like that, you could run into a little bit more of a sticky situation that may cause some issues. So try to do your best at limiting what kind of adapters you're using to get into your device. For example, I have a MacBook here. They take USB-C. So I would actually rather use a USB-C to USB-C cable that takes both power and data, or even use a USB-C to USB-A adapter and use the Mevo cable by itself. Now, if you're using a longer cable that's not the Mevo camera cable, then you could run into issues because USB is not really designed to work after a specific length. I believe it's 5 meters if I'm not mistaken, which means that you'll need something like a USB booster or something like that to kind of push that signal even further. Otherwise, it may not get to the destination you're trying to send it to. However, all of the Mevo cables should actually work with this configuration. You shouldn't have any issues. But if you continue to have issues, definitely open a ticket at help.mevo.com. One of us would be more than happy to test and kind of troubleshoot with you. So Dave Washburn says, my Mevo is connected to a Cat 5e via the boost. My iPad is connected to the Mevo hotspot for controlling the app. When I attempt to move the Mevo for short term via stream, I do not get internet. Where should I be looking to correct this? When I attempt to move the Mevo for short term stream via Wi-Fi. Okay, so I just want to kind of understand this a little bit better. Okay, so you talk about being connected via Ethernet, but then you're talking about using Wi-Fi. If you're trying to switch between Ethernet and Wi-Fi at the same time during a stream, you're going to get cut off. You can't go from Ethernet to Wi-Fi in the middle of a stream without being disconnected. When I attempt to move, yeah, I think that's what I'm understanding. If I'm misunderstanding that, I apologize, but definitely try to open a ticket at help.mevo.com. We'd be more than happy to go through and troubleshoot with you. Unfortunately, the show is more for kind of talking about the subjects of like what Mevo is, where we're going with it, what we offer. For actual technical support, definitely go to help.mevo.com. Myself, Will, or the other Joseph would be more than happy to troubleshoot and answer any questions. That's where we can really get some more information and deep dive into the actual issue that's happening. Jason Kerr says, did the overlay work with the original Mevo? Absolutely. So whether you have a Mevo Plus, a Mevo First Gen, or the Mevo Start, you can use Vimeo Producer, Vimeo Premium, and use overlays, including like the one I'm using right now. You can absolutely take advantage of those and use those with any iteration of the Mevo camera. Heather says, we're trying to live stream local ball games through Facebook using the Mevo. Great video quality, but it seems to hang up often during the broadcast. We use the hotspot from our iPhone to broadcast. Last season, we didn't seem to have any issues. We've had a lot of trouble with it so far this season. I'm sorry to hear that, Heather. Now, when it comes to using the Mevo hotspot and you're using your mobile device's data, there are a lot of variables that you have to take into consideration. One, did your location change? Two, how many people are using your service provider? The more people using that cell tower that you're using, the less bandwidth you're gonna get, the more upload speed issues you're gonna have. Now, then you're gonna be competing with all of the other users. And then if you're changing locations, maybe signal there's kind of hit or miss anyways. So it really kind of depends. What I would highly recommend doing before you actually start your live stream is go to Google on your mobile device and actually type in speed test. Run a speed test. See what Google says your upload is. If your upload's not pushing 10 megabytes per second, then you probably should rethink the quality of which you're streaming. If you lower it a little bit, we do have some help articles, which we'll get into in a little bit later, that really cover a lot of these things, whether it's upload speeds, what bandwidth you need for specific resolutions. But I would highly recommend starting every stream, regardless if you're familiar with the location, especially if you're using cellular data, because there are so many things that are out of your control, such as how many people are using it, who your cell phone provider is prioritizing on the connection at the time. So definitely do a speed test before you go live. I would even do it between games. That way you're just kind of prepared, right? So you might get to the baseball fields early. Next thing you know, you're streaming, everything's great. One game ends, you're in a tournament, you go to the next game an hour later. More people are now there. More people are using your provider. More people are taking up bandwidth. So do another speed test. Maybe you just decide that, my speed isn't good enough for this game. Maybe you just record it and then upload it later. So there are a lot of things you have to take into consideration. But if you do these speed tests regularly, even in between games or just simply moving locations, definitely do them regularly, and then you can make adjustments on the fly. Max says, I have 2 Mevo and I'm pretty much happy with them. Is it possible to have the bokeh effect? I am unfamiliar with what that is, so I'm going to do a quick Google search to see what that is. Oh, okay. Okay. Creating out of focus. Okay. Sorry, I am definitely not a photographer, producer, camera whiz by any means. My background specifically is in networking, computer programming, and things like that. I, of course, was a Mevo user for multiple years before actually working here. But yeah, I definitely don't know all the terminology of like photography. But if you're looking for like out of focus things, the Mevo actually has a, we've got, Okay, So basically what you're gonna have issues with the Mevo is basically the Mevo has an infinity focus. So you're not really gonna be able to get depth of field with the Mevo. Of course, the further away you are from the Mevo, the more issues you might run into when it comes to like blurry. So since it has an infinity focus, right? And it does have a digital zoom opposed to an optical zoom. Of course, the people who are closer in general are just going to be more in focus because everybody else is so far away. However, you can't really take people out of focus with the Mevo camera. That's definitely something we would love to revisit, and maybe future iterations of either the Mevo app. I'm not sure on a hardware standpoint of how difficult those changes might be, but that's something we would definitely like to see. I know I would like to see it, especially being a user of, I have an S21 Ultra, which really allows me to get, I only use it for like photography, typically of food, because that's just the kind of person I am. I love my food. So I personally enjoy getting things in and out of focus and things like that. So if that's the goal, definitely I would just kind of keep in touch and see how we move forward with our applications and our future iterations of the Mevo product. As it stands, it has a infinity focus, so you're not going to really be able to get that kind of that quality without any kind of adapters or third-party solutions, which we really don't have any solutions for you. So I'm sure there's somebody out there who's tried to hack something along, but unfortunately, as it stands right now, not really a possibility. Thank you for the question, though. So Joshua says, can you use a professional switcher like Atom or Other? So the Atom Mini or other platforms like that, they take HDMI input or output, I believe. Haven't really used it myself. However, they require HDMI. Now, if the Atom Mini or any of the Atom products eventually accept NDI as an input, RTMP as an input, or UVC as an input, then you can absolutely use your Mevo with it. However, if it's going to require HDMI input, you are not going to be able to use your Mevo with that product. James says, when is Mevo Wireless Beta Webcam coming out? Then we would not have to worry about cords. It would operate like a Mevo Start, no cords. Okay, so James, if you're not part of the Mevo webcam beta, I would recommend go join that group. It's in Facebook. Just go to Mevo Wireless Webcam Beta, and you can get the early builds or you can get all of the builds for both Mac and for Windows. Now, they're early builds specifically for Windows. I think it's only on like the second version or second iteration of the build. So if you want to go check that out in the beta, then you can do that. But I would recommend, if you're trying to use it for production purposes, then I would stick with wired as it stands. But when it comes to using the wireless beta, definitely we would appreciate more testers. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. Pastor Raul says, our church service using Mevo Plus, the previous build, but the quality of the picture isn't good. We are renting church, even though the Mevo is only 5 feet away, it is still a problem. Will hotspot make a difference? For Wi-Fi connection, what is your recommendation? Do we need to use our own Wi-Fi hotspot? We are using the church Wi-Fi. Thanks for the question, Raul. So first off, thanks for being a Mevo customer and having the Mevo Plus. Great camera. This is my first Mevo. Now, if you're having issues with it being 5 feet away and you're still having quality issues, that's definitely something I would recommend opening a ticket for. You shouldn't be experiencing issues, specifically if it's as far as like being blurry or anything like that. But if it's 5 feet away and you're punching all the way in the zoom, then you might run into some issues there. When it comes to the network connection, we always recommend running Mevo on a dedicated network to avoid bandwidth issues and things like that. We also recommend that depending on the resolution, you have 10 megabytes per second upload. So depending on the resolution, that could always have an effect if you're getting low connection warnings and things like that, or slow connection warnings. So definitely look out for things like that. Now, we do recommend, like I said, the dedicated network. You can use your church's Wi-Fi, but if other people are using it, I would recommend making sure they're not using it while you're going live, and things like that. So there are a few things that you can look into, you know, whether it's making sure you're the only person using the network, setting up your own network, making sure your upload speeds are sufficient. Whether it's a hotspot or local Wi-Fi, it's not gonna really matter as long as the speeds are sufficient, which means definitely do the speed test like I was discussing earlier, because that's going to play a huge part on the resolution and the quality that actually goes through. Sure, you can select 1080, but if your bit rate or your upload speeds are not going to support that, then the quality is not going to truly be 1080 on the other end. Samuel says, can you switch picture-in-picture back and forth in the Vimeo app? So you actually don't use the Vimeo app at all when you're using the Vimeo producer plans. This is the Mevo app. You don't need an additional app. But yes, you can absolutely switch back and forth between the graphics. So for example, I have this slideshow right now. Let me go ahead and make that a full screen. You know, I can do that. I can move it over here. I can drop in a lower third. I'm covering my face now, so that's awkward. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can accomplish with this. You can do a lot of different things. This specific overlay I'm using right now is a slideshow, so I can just switch between each slide by simply pressing the next arrow. Cynthia says, I'm a fairly new Mevo user and would like to use Vimeo, but we can't really afford the price. Do they have a simpler, cheaper package for basic lower thirds and overlays? So the Vimeo producer plan is the basic, well, I can't say basic because there is a Vimeo basic plan that's free, but it doesn't offer any of this. The cheapest plan that comes with overlays and multi-destination, all of that, is the Vimeo producer plan. It's $15 a month, depending on your geographical location, but it's $15 a month to take advantage of the Vimeo features that is offered by the Vimeo plan. Okay, great. Thank you for all the questions. Please keep those coming. I'm going to hit questions again, I'm sure, one more time. I do want to cover, though, one thing, which is our referral program. If you were unaware and you already find yourself recommending the Mevo to other people, people are always wondering what you're using. You know, if you are already telling people you're using the Mevo and they're making purchases, you may as well go to mevo.com/refer or /referral. Sign up for our referral program and create a custom coupon code. This custom coupon code you can then hand out to users or potential buyers of Mevo, and you can absolutely earn 5% back and save them 5% back in the process. So if you're already doing this, you may as well take advantage of our program and put some extra money in your pocket, and then save your friends or your colleagues some money as well. I know this is really cool because if you were unaware, you can actually create this custom coupon code. You can name it after your YouTube channel, your Twitch channel, your baseball league, your softball league, your pickleball league, whatever it might be. However you're using it, you can absolutely have this cool custom coupon code named after your channel, however you want to name it, and then you can hand that out and earn yourself some money and save them some money in the process. So you can do that today. Go into mevo.com/refer or referral, and you should be all squared away there. All right, so let's continue on today's topic. So we talked a little bit about Vimeo plans, you know, what all comes with it. And today I even posted in the Mevo customer group. If you're not part of it, it's a great group. You can go to facebook.com, type in Mevo customer group and get some questions and answers there. But we also have a great resource that covers all of these topics way more in depth than I ever could, at least by memory. So if you go to help.mevo.com, you can type in whether it's live editing, you can type in graphical overlays, and you can cover all of these really good topics. For this first one, you can see here we have an in-depth overview of all of the graphical setup that you can do. If you click on any of these on help.mevo.com, it'll take you to a specific article. Each of the articles have a video that shows you how to do it. And then we even have screenshots and supporting media to show you, what resolutions you need to upload these in, how to use it, how to change it, all of the features that are in these graphical overlays, and really shows you how to really take advantage of the full feature that is graphical overlays with the Vimeo plan. And we also have, well, look at that. There's a screenshot that shows you, some really cool features. It shows you what it actually looks like within the app, and all of this screenshot's taken directly from help.mevo.com. So I'm telling you, if you're looking for a clear step-by-step guide on how to use these features, help.mevo.com is the way to go. Now, the other thing that comes with the Vimeo plan, whether it's producer or premium, and then I believe even pro and some other ones come with some advantages as well when it comes to the Vimeo, or not the Vimeo, the Mevo Mic app. The Mevo Mic app is a free app. You do get a single source for free. Now what this allows you to do is you can download this app on either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, and then it turns your mobile device into a wireless microphone. And then any kind of audio source you plug into that mobile device will then be broadcasted directly to your Mevo. Your Mevo will encode the audio and video and make sure it's in sync and then broadcast it out. Now, this is a great solution because typically wireless microphones, they're going to run $50 to hundreds of dollars, and then you can technically just take a lavalier mic that you could grab, $10-15 from Amazon, plug it on in to your mobile device, tuck your mobile device in your back pocket, and your speaker is no longer being contained in a small area simply because they're trying to be captured by whatever the audio source was previously. Now they can walk around freely and be captured audio and video. Now, if you have the Vimeo Premium plan, I believe the Vimeo Business Plus, and Vimeo Producer, if you have all of those plans, you also get 3 sources. So you get 2 additional sources that a free user would not get. So that means now you can use 3 of these as lavalier solutions or wireless solutions. Now, of course, you don't need a lavalier. You can, of course, just speak into the microphone or, set it down on a pew or a pulpit or whatever it might be. Just, if you're not being captured, you're off screen, you may as well just talk into your phone, and you can use that as a microphone without even attaching any kind of microphone to it. Your phone has a microphone built in, so you can actually take advantage of that, and it'll send it to your Mevo as well. And this is, once again, screenshots directly from help.mevo.com. Talks about how to set this up step by step. All of these are very clear instructions, and you can get all of it at help.mevo.com for absolutely free, or help manuals. And then, as I was talking about earlier, was the multi-destination that came with these plans. So I was discussing why it was so important to actually take advantage of this if you're going to multiple destinations is because you're using Vimeo's cloud power, right? You're using their server strength and bandwidth instead of your local internet bandwidth. So you're essentially, and there's even a screenshot that demonstrates this. If you go to help.mevo.com, you can see this entire article. But there's a screenshot that actually demonstrates this. Typically, if you're streaming from your Mevo, whether it's the first iteration or the Mevo Start, which is our latest release, if you're streaming to a single destination, it's going directly from your internet to the platform. Now, if you're using multi-destination, you can select up to 10 of those, and what's happening is, instead of it going from your internet to the platform, it's actually going from your internet directly to Vimeo, and then Vimeo is going to distribute that to all of the destinations you have selected. That way, you're using the same amount of bandwidth, whether you were going to a single destination or multiple destinations. Because as far as the Mevo is concerned, it's going to multiple destinations, but it's technically only going to Vimeo. Then Vimeo is reading what the Mevo is saying and sending it out to the other destinations you have selected. So no matter how many destinations they're going to, we still recommend 10 megabytes per second, just as you would be recommended for a 1080p stream going directly to Facebook. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Let's go to the next slide. And this is what it looks like inside the Mevo 2.0 app. If you're unfamiliar with what the app looks like, there's all of the destinations in the Mevo 2.0 app. Of course, if your destination's not there, we also support RTMP, which is the last option, I believe, in the app. And of course, in the top right, you can just toggle on multi-destination, and that tells the Mevo that you're sending this feed to Vimeo, and then Vimeo is going to read all the destinations you have selected. Of course, no matter what you're having selected, if you're going to Facebook, you can select all your pages, your groups, your personal profile. It's not limiting you to only a single Facebook destination, only a single YouTube destination, or only a single Twitch destination. You can send it to as many as you like, up to 10. So if you've got 5 pages, 4 groups in your personal profile for Facebook, you can send it to all of those. That's 10 destinations. 5, 4, yep, nailed it. My math's great, doing it. Things are happening. Okay, so you can go up to 10 destinations, right? And they can all be to Facebook. It doesn't matter. You can all be to YouTube. If you have 10 RTMP destinations, you can do all of those things. And Vimeo is going to handle those destinations on their end, and all you're doing is sending that single stream to them for them to handle it. Alrighty, so I'm going to look for one last question. Let's see if we have anything. No, it doesn't look like it does. It looks like it's time to wrap up. Okay, fantastic. Well, first and foremost, thank you all for tuning in to another Ask Mevo Anything. As always, make sure you like, follow, subscribe at Mevo Camera. You can follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitch. Nope, not Twitch. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're wanting to get the most up-to-date information, announcements, any kind of live stream shows, and you want to be alerted, make sure you do that. Of course, we will be going live again tomorrow in the multicam beta group with Will at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's going to walk you through all of the great things that the multicam beta has and will have. He demonstrates things that aren't even released yet. And then I'll be back on Thursday to do a similar show like today. Different topics, of course. We won't be talking about Vimeo again, I don't think. And then Friday, Joseph will be here with a more advanced, more in-depth audio take and how you can work with different microphones, mixers, and all of the internal audio solutions that we have built in with the advanced audio processing. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Joseph Capehart, the Senior Technical Specialist here at Mevo, and until tomorrow's live stream, we will see you all next time.